I'd like you to explain a little bit more about your idea of a garden in every school. How can this small thing can be a change of paradigm?
At this moment, the mainstream education is almost disconnected, if not totally disconnected, from the natural world. Children sit in the classroom for 5 hours, 6 hours every day, 5 days a week. And they don't go out, they don't sit under the trees, they don't walk by the river, they don't go into the mountains. They are always stuck in the classroom. So, no wonder that we are treating the natural world in such a bad way. And natural world is being polluted, and rainforests are being cut down, the trees are being cut down, the forests are disappearing, the rivers are polluted. So the challenge for education is to reconnect with the natural world. And reconnection with the natural world requires that we should touch the earth. And if every school has a garden, then children will go out of the classroom and will touch the earth. And they will see how a seed becomes a plant, and how in the plant there are flowers, and how those flowers become fruit, and how those fruit attract bees, and how bees pollinate the other trees, and how that fruit gives us nourishment. So the whole natural cycle they will learn. So my aim in education is that children should reconnect with the natural world. And the best way to reconnect with the natural world is to start with a garden. And then every day children should go out in nature, in the garden, but also if schools have nearby forests or trees or river or pond or hills, just go out in nature. At least one day a week, children should experience nature. Knowledge of nature is not good enough unless it is also an experience of nature. So when you are experiencing nature and learning from nature, you are connected with nature. And when you are learning from nature, which is very different than learning about nature, there's a great deal of difference between the two words. When you are learning about nature, nature is an object of study. When you are learning from nature, then nature becomes your teacher, and there is a deeper relationship. And when there is a deeper relationship, then you know which country produces what fruit. You come to know kaki is grown in Mallorca, apples are grown in France, mangoes are grown in India, the rice is grown in southern Spain. So all that history, geography, and then you can learn art by painting pictures. Where does inspiration for paintings come from? Van Gogh painted sunflowers. Now, who is more important, Van Gogh or sunflower? If there were no sunflower, we no Van Gogh. So in order to have Van Gogh, you have to have a sunflower. And Van Gogh goes out in nature and paints a sunflower. Monet painted lilies and then the gardens. So if you have no garden, you have no Monet. So poetry, where does poetry come from? Natural inspiration. So art, poetry, science, music, everything you can learn from nature. But you have to learn from nature, not just about nature. If you learn about nature, then you are distant. There's no inspiration. So nature is our mentor, nature is our teacher, nature is our friend. We are nature. Nature is not just out there. We are nature too. Nature means to be born, natura, meaning birth. Human beings are born. So we are also nature. So if we are nature, then we are embedded in nature and we embody nature. And so love of nature is more important than just study of nature. Our modern education teaches you to go out and conquer nature, to subjugate nature, to steal the secrets of nature. That is not the purpose of new education. The new education is to live in harmony with the natural world. My mother used to say that nature is the greatest teacher, even greater than the Buddha. And I used to say to my mother that there can be no greater teacher than the Buddha. In India, everybody thinks that the Buddha was the greatest teacher. So my mother would say, but where did Buddha got his enlightenment? He got his enlightenment while sitting under a tree. When he was observing the tree, he saw the connections between the rain, the sunshine, the soil, the seed, the birds. Everything was connected. This interconnectedness and interdependence of nature he found while sitting under a tree. And so nature is a greater teacher than the Buddha. If you want best education, then I think both parents should try to find part-time jobs, so that maybe 2.5 days father working and mother is looking after the child, and 2.5 days mother working, father is looking after the child. You cannot have good education if parents are gone and you just outsource your education to the schools and take no care of children. Having children is a great responsibility. So I think parents should give more importance to taking care of the children than earning lots of money. What's good of having lots of money and no relationship with your children? So I would suggest that it would be better for the parents to have part-time job and half-time father working, half-time mother working, so that child get benefit of both parents. At the moment, education puts emphasis on 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. I say this is not good enough. It's not holistic education. It's not good education, because 3 R's, reading, writing and arithmetic, is all related to brain. We only teach our children to have intellectual and rational knowledge. We are not just head, we are not just brain, we are whole body. And therefore education should be for whole body and whole person. So I want to replace 3 R's with 3 H's: head, heart and hands. So head, academic, knowledge, information, that's fine. But heart is our emotional intelligence. We have to train our heart, because through heart we feel relationship, love, compassion. Also we feel sorrow, sadness, conflict. How do you deal with sorrow and sadness? If we don't teach our children, then they will not be able to deal the difficulties of life. So we need to bring emotional education and heart education in our education, our educational system. Then hands are also very important, because at the moment our schools de-skill our young people. They don't teach anything from hands. They don't know how to build a house, they don't know how to cook food, they don't know how to garden, they don't know how to repair a chair or make a chair. They don't make anything. They think work is not important. I must get my money and earn my livelihood and have my job, which involves no work. That is not good. I think education should teach also how to use our hands, how to build a house, how to grow food, how to cook food, how to make clothes, whatever. We must be not just consumers, we must be makers and builders and creative people. So my philosophy of new education is to educate head, heart and hands, which means intellectual education with emotional intelligence and handy skills. I think this conference in Mallorca over the last 2 days, where 500 teachers from the islands, Mallorca and nearby islands, have come together for 2 days and exploring the new ways of educating, which is holistic, which is interconnected, which is responding and respecting the natural world, and holistic education, which means head, heart and hands. And 500 teachers coming together to explore and build a new system of education, so that our children are not just robots like educated people, but they are real educated people. So this conference has been a landmark conference. I think it's the first time when ecology and holistic thinking, science, entrepreneurship, philosophy, spirituality, all have come together. So it's a landmark conference. And I think from this conference, many new initiatives will emerge. And so I very much hope that in Mallorca and the nearby islands, create a new kind of education.